So it is a pleasure to talk with you today.
Well, thank you, Kelly. It's an honor and a blessing to me too, because God did all of this. And that's something I would really love to be able to have your audience know, that it was not me that created this line or even had the idea to do it. It was him in every way. And it was out of a need I had that I prayed for because I didn't have what I wanted. And he showed me how to make it. And so, and that's how literally it began. And it was confirmed by him through scripture that I should create it into a company. And so, it's him that we serve. And when we use the talents that he gives us and listen and obey, and that's the reason the name of the company is Obey, then he does the rest. And through the fear, even I've had a lot of fear in the beginning. I had so much fear that he broke it off. And that's another a story that I can go into at some point, the fear that broke off. But the whole thing was because in 2013, I had been already eating a lot of organic food, and I had learned a lot about what was going on in the farms and the livestock and with the soil. It was just overwhelming. I couldn't believe what we were doing to our own food supply. And so I started getting into organic little by little, and to the point where I had almost everything food-wise organic. But then I'm still using all the conventional products on my skin, and my skin in the winter, if I just did this with my hands, my knuckles would crack and bleed. I was so dry, and I couldn't figure out what was going on, except that I could tell that there was alcohol in nearly everything conventional. And so I thought, well, I'm eating, all organic. There's got to be an organic skincare, right? Well, there wasn't. There were some natural products out there, and one cream that Suzanne Summers, I have to give her credit all the time because she forged the way in a lot of things, but hers was not certified organic. And so I thought I'm going to use some of the certified organic oils that I have in my kitchen. And what did Sophia Loren use? Well, she used olive oil. So let me start with that. And I started with some oils and started figuring out how to make a cream. Very little information existed out there at that point on how to do that. And so stumbling one recipe over, I would sit down on my couch with my Bible, with my journal, and say, Lord, what I do wrong? Show me, what do I do next? How do I do this? And so over 26 tries, I ended up with a cream that I liked and started using it. That's the Extreme Hand and Body Cream. And it comes in the two sizes. That's a small one. And then there's also a large one. And Jasmine Tangerine, which is this little one, happened to be the first one I made because I like jasmine and tangerine. And so I made a Jasmine Tangerine hand cream for myself. And really started working. And it was like the winter now. It was October of 2013. And I thought, this is actually working on my hands. So Christmas is coming. I'm dead broke. I had lost everything in the recession, everything, home, everything. I went down to nothing. And I had a very good business and large income at the time, medical device. I'm a manufacturing engineer. And so I thought, okay, so I needed to give out Christmas gifts at Christmas. And so I thought, I have a few creams. I'm just going to put them in little, wrap them up for my family and friends. And I did that. And the response was overwhelming because everyone that had it on them thought the same thing. It's like, wow, this is the first thing that's worked. And so it's coming into, the first part of the year. And I'm thinking, well, wow, this is great. The feedback's great, but I'm on unemployment. I'm driving for Uber. It was a challenge. And I thought, how could I possibly create it? So anyway, I started getting a few more oils and making a few more. And I end up with the scripture that's 2 Kings 4. And that is where Elisha the prophet, he had a prophet friend who died, who left behind a widow and 2 sons. And that widow asked him, what do I do? They want my kids, my boys, for the debt. And he says, what do you have? Well, she had olive oil in a flask. And he said, send your boys out, get as many jars as you can, fill them. And she did. And then she says, now what? There's no more jars. He says, sell them. You'll have enough to live on and pay all your debt. And I hit that over and over, in like I was, a message I'm hearing from a pastor online, or on all different ways. It was go to church, it's the same message. So are you telling me this, you want me to do this as a business? I'm putting oil in jars in the kitchen because to make a cream, I'm using olive, apricot, almond, wheat germ, and coconut oils. And this was an overwhelming yes from God, because then that night I went to a Women's Aglow meeting, which is, my mom was involved a lot in that. And there was a prophet speaking, and he called me out from the back, and he literally read me what God had been telling me to do. And it was, he said, I see a recipe, and I see a book, and he doesn't know me from anybody. Well, he didn't realize I'd struggling on the couch with this recipe over and over again, and I was writing my testimony in a book. And so he says, it's not a recipe book, it's recipe and book. He goes, something about, and I just fell to the ground and bawled. I was like, you've got to be kidding. So with no money, I end up putting some, a couple jars in a bag and go to the first store. And the woman there loved it and wrote an order and paid me in advance for the order. And I thought, well, I have to make a business now, because I have, so this was how it began, and called it Obey. And I wanted it to be those 3 letters, but it's Organic Body Essentials, because I'm trying to describe to people why they need organic. The essential, it's essential to have organic that we put on our skin, because our skin is our body's largest organ. And so it's going to absorb no matter what you put on it. And it goes directly into your liver when you put it on your skin. So it doesn't pass through your digestion. It just goes through your bloodstream and into your liver. Now that's pretty hot. That's a high toxic level. And we're doing this over and over again with conventional products. And all you got to do is flip that label around on your conventional product, and you'll see parabens and parfum and fragrance. And there's so many things in there that are endocrine disruptors. Right. And you can find that, on nih.gov. Just look for endocrine disruptors, and there'll be the list of the things that's on your conventional products. So that's how everything began, and a lot more story behind that on how 9 years later, here we are. And we were the first certified organic skincare on the market. And because I'm an engineer, medical device, I knew a lot of regulatory. So I started right away figuring out, well, how do I make it certified? And I got certified. I was the first certified skincare they had ever certified. They were only doing farms at that time. So it was the beginning, and every natural food market opened their arms to me. And that's the beginning of how it started, was with the Whole Foods and the Erewhons, and all up and down California, every 5 weeks in my car, jamming and driving for Uber on the weekends and making product during the week. It was a bit nuts, but here we are. So
thank God. Thank you for the bravery that took, while you were probably shaking the whole time going, is this real? Can I really do this? I know this sounds a little hallmarky, but it's so true. When I turn around and go, how can I do all these different things in my life and they actually have any meaning? And today I laugh at this, because I realize your testimony, even my own, we can say, I took bits and pieces from all these things that I learned, and I couldn't be here if I hadn't have had, all these various experiences. And anyway, I'm so grateful that you did. Well, your, truthfully, my testimony so far, and I'm still trying your products. And I am the annoying friend. I am the annoying and mother, really, of 2 beautiful girls that I talk to. But my son doesn't want anything to do with skincare. So I just try to sneak little bits and pieces into his house. But when it comes to the girls, so one thing I would love your 2 cents on, when you talk about hormone disruptors, that's a real thing. Anything that has to do with parabens or hormone disruptors. Do you have any other words of counsel that you would say, or just wisdom that you've acquired, just specifically on how it disrupts, or how you've even, combated that with your products?
Well, it definitely, for example, we've heard that plastic bottles can contain the hormone disruptors. So when we're drinking water, even out of a plastic bottle, we're changing the hormone structure in our bodies. And so we're becoming, a lot of estrogens going in, and it's, not so good for the guys. with all that estrogen in their body. And it definitely throws off women's, for example, cycles, that we've seen that with the jab, how they're trying to do that. It's in all, basically, it's an onslaught to make our lives difficult and rely on the medical community, the more like the pharmaceutical companies, to readjust us back to normal. And so it's in a lot of products, those disruptors, and they're very high level in the skincare products or the topical products that we use. If you think about even sunscreen, it's got a lot of chemicals in that. And it, you know, was there skin cancer when I was a kid? I don't remember ever hearing anybody that got skin cancer. It wasn't until we started using a product on our skin to protect us from the harmful rays of the sun, which they weren't so harmful for a few thousand years. And I know they're talking about, you know, changes in atmosphere and everything like that. Sure, stuff like that can happen too. But there's really a heavy dose that comes at us in multiple products, including our plastic bottles that we drink out of, that can make it where we get imbalanced. Your sleep patterns change. You don't sleep as soundly any longer because you are disrupted. There's you know, the for example, even if you just go to aluminum is in a lot of things too. Aluminum is a metal that makes a mess of your body. Your skin, when it has too many particular metals in it, it will start to have changes in even the color of your skin. You'll get those little white spots coming up. You'll get brown spots where you didn't normally. These are chemicals and metals that are in our skin, in our bloodstream, that are changing the chemistry of our body. So it's not even just the hormones that change, it's a lot of other things that end up changing. You get itchy. There's things that happen that, you know, mess with your the oil in your skin. You start to lose that elasticity. There's so many different things that, not, of course, age is part of this, but you can see in other older times, people that lived long, they still looked really well. I mean, Sophia Loren's one of them. She just looked beautiful. Well, she was using oil on her skin. In times past, in the Bible, you know, we see people live to be 800, 900 years old. I don't think they were all, you know, they had to have looked, well, Sarah was one of them. She looked beautiful into her old age, right? Even the kings wanted, you know, her as their wife. So we've done something as a society, and with, you know, the agencies that are out to basically control us, to damage the balance in our body. That's where, and we haven't even talked about that at all, but the extreme terpenes products, the hemp products that we create, those also bring back into balance. They go into your endocrine system. They start to figure out what's incorrect in there and adjust that and make basically the ability to have your body heal with oils. And I just want to say a disclaimer, I'm not a doctor. I'm an engineer. I am giving all of this information as education. I don't diagnose or treat. And so, but we do know that even the NIH.gov website has multitudes of studies there. And if you look up endocrine disruptors, you can learn a lot about what's going on with that, with your body, and the actual disruptors and what they cause. So go and look there and go into depth there if you're interested in more, because I'm no expert on any of this, but I have done a lot of research. Another one that I follow and absolutely love is Dr. Judy Mikovits. She's a friend of mine and a powerful scientist and brilliant woman. And she can, you just go to her website, the real Dr. Judy and .com, and she's got a lot of information about the exact same things I'm talking about here, how food heals your body. Good food. That's not just conventional food. Conventional food has a lot of chemicals in it. We want to stay away from conventional foods. We want to switch to organic, and be careful even in the organic sector, because they're trying to slip in some things into that. You can do your research on some of the things that Bill Gates is trying to do right now with the organic food. But right
Right.
now, for the most part, the organic food is safe and the better way to go, because you are ingesting pure food grown as best as possible with the right minerals and nutrients in the soil and without the pesticides on the plants that you're eating. So anyway, there's a little bit there, and there's a ton of research if you go in that direction, like I mentioned.
Okay, that was good. I appreciate that. But you've really helped fill a gap and a need in my life. I've been organic eating forever and ever. That's been a part of my journey. But when it comes to skincare, so I have the privilege of learning more about shampoos and conditioners. So I partnered up with somebody who does my hair, and we really spend quality time talking about what goes on your hair and what shouldn't go on your hair and what decisions I make. But coming down to, like I said, I've got two girls, and they're going through they're 22 and 31, and they're going through their own I guess challenges is the right word, and they're different than mine. So it makes me one more time pay attention to a lot of the products that I've tried of yours, and I haven't, unfortunately, tried a lot of them. Some of the ones that are my favorites so far, and that's, oh my gosh, I don't think I could put together favorites, because there isn't anything that I've tried that I haven't liked. But I love, I have tried this mask, Vickie. So several times. I even did it last night, and I had a facial today. So why would you do a mask before a facial? Well, number one, I really wanted to tell my facialist that, I really wanted her to see the changes. So that was pretty cool. And then I took some of my favorite products of yours with me and gave them to her because I want her to try them. And then your naming conventions, by the way, in my product list that I love, they're so funny. Radical, there's a lot of radical and supreme and mega and ultra. I'm loving it. It reminds me of a former life of mine when I was in medical sales, but it's cracking me up. I love it. So this face mask, my youngest daughter and I both have tried. By the way, she also tried the CBD gel caps, because I asked her not to go to ibuprofen when we only have ibuprofen in the house, but I asked her just to try it. And so she went ahead and tried both of them, and she was so good about coming back and reporting, well, Mom, I didn't really notice much the first time, but the second time, but I slept really well, and then the second gel cap she took, she just said, I just noticed that I did my body wasn't hurting as bad as it was the day before. So that's really wonderful. I like that it's a subtle, not an overwhelming, right? So that was pretty cool. Right. And then the terpenes, the extreme terpenes, I've just been really disciplined about trying that one. I don't have any idea what it's doing. I just keep thinking this is doing amazing things, and I put it under my tongue, and then, a minute later I go get a drink of water. So I just have the hope that it's doing all the amazing things. And I remember you telling me how I can use that externally and internally.
The way that became into my life was I had a bulge disc in my neck, and I was hospitalized for passing out because I couldn't breathe. A lifeguard found me. It was a mess, and I ended up. It was so bad that when I was released, and because they couldn't figure out why I passed out, I couldn't turn my neck because it was so painful. I would tear up from the pain. Well, the interesting thing is the way God has done the product line is it's typically something I've needed. And so I was calling on all these natural food stores, and they were starting to show up with CBD. This was in the 2018 time, right? And because it was legal now in California. And I thought, what is this stuff? Anyway, I started researching and realized that cannabinoids are powerful at reducing inflammation. So I thought, I'm going to try this for my neck. So started taking it internally and realized, and I started making it myself because and creating a much stronger version and adding terpenes to it, because I know that the value of terpenes, they're in every plant except iceberg lettuce. That's when you smell lavender, it's the terpene you're smelling from the lavender flower. That's the calming effect. It's a terpene is a common, and you can internally receive a lot of benefits from terpenes. So the combination of cannabinoids, CBD, CBC, CBG. I also have CBDA, CBDG in there. There's a lot of minor cannabinoids that are potent too at addressing pain and inflammation. I started being able to, just like you said, it's a slow progress.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's an overnight thing for certain things, but in my case, it was about 2 weeks. And I thought, wow, I can actually turn. And then inflammation was going down further by about a month. I had a full range in my neck. And a few months later, the inflammation was completely gone. And I didn't have to deal with the problem with my neck any longer. And I know it was that because what ended up happening too is I have arthritic knees, and I was able to start popping up from the couch again and thought, this is crazy, because I feel like I'm 10 years younger. So over time, we can get inflammation over a few years period of time. So a lot of things don't just turn overnight. So sometimes it takes a little bit of time to have that happen. And the cannabinoids and terpenes, that's another thing I always say, go to nih.gov. There's a lot of studies there that show it for pain, inflammation, arthritis, anxiety, depression, sleeplessness, the insomnia, all types of studies with cannabinoids and terpenes that show benefits of, and these are food. This is from the industrial hemp plant. And that's what I'm talking about when I say terpenes. This is the bottle of the Extreme Terpenes 1500 anytime. And this one is just 1500 milligrams of CBD in the whole bottle. So the way you would take this is a dropper full under your tongue and let it just absorb in. That's a dropper full under your tongue. And then, I always suggest starting slow with anything. Start with a quarter dropper full the first few days and get your body used to it. But, and then let it absorb in, and that's how you do it. And it's not a drug. It is a supplement. So you got to remind yourself to take it. So it's non-addictive and non-hallucinogenic. The 2018 US Farm Bill put out by our rightful President Trump allowed us to use what Abraham Lincoln said was a crop that we should have in every state across the nation. And that was hemp, industrial hemp, not marijuana. It looks the same, but it's not. It's kind of like you're going to make a salad with mushrooms. You trust that those mushrooms are food, right? But mushrooms can also be hallucinogenic depending upon the type. Well, this type is the industrial hemp plant. So it's the 0.3% or less THC content is what is there detected. We have all of our batches tested, and everything always is, we legally have to do this. And so we don't sell drugs, we sell supplements, and it's food. And this is what has been a tremendous help for so many people with so many issues. Like I said, we've got testimonials like crazy on, everything from, like I just mentioned, that list, to even skin things where you can topically apply to a weird looking mole or an open wound even. And it ends up, people report back, wow, overnight it was like it closed up and couldn't believe it. And or itch or a bug bite. I've used it for bee stings on the bottom of my feet. I live near the beach, and sometimes I step on a bee. It's so powerful that way. I also, believe it or not, I mix it with the Flawless Face Serum. So our Flawless Face Serum has red raspberry oil in it, and jojoba and frankincense and myrrh is in there too. I love the Flawless Face Serum, but I also enhance it with a drop or two of the Extreme Terpenes, because it's excellent for skin rejuvenation as well. And so, anyway, there's multiple uses for it. I always say to everybody, always just have a bottle of this on hand, because you have no idea what cut or burn or sting or something that you're going to end up with. And it's so potent and powerful at helping with that. So that's the Extreme Terpenes and the cannabinoids. And then, the face products, there's quite a few. I don't remember if you've tried the Ultra Hydrosol. But did you try?
I do have that. I do have it.
Okay. It's a great one also for your hair. So what hydrosol is it's when we make the essential oils, steam distillation is where you extract from the plants the oil, right? So you're getting a lot of the benefits directly from the oil, but there's a steam that is actually generated too when you do that process, and you capture that steam, and it's the hydrosol. So that's the water, right? Hydro. And so there's 5 of them in this bottle. That's the frankincense and myrrh, rose, chamomile, and just slipping my mind here, lavender. And so those 5 hydrosols are in this bottle, and that's all it is water from the distillation process. So it has trace benefits in there. The trace amounts of that oil are in that water, and it's very refreshing to spray on your face or in your hair before you style your hair, but on your face before you put one of the oil or creams on, because it's going to make it spread even easier, and you're getting the benefits from adding healthy water to your face. So, so anyway, that's just one of the face products too. And a lot of products, there's like 7 face products. We go from face to feet actually with the skincare. All the face things like Kelly was just saying about the mask. And I'll touch on that for a second. The mask is very few ingredients. And the grapeseed extract, I'm sorry, it's not that, the grapeseed flower is what is the potent part of this, because if you remember, you heard from the reservoir, what was that called? They were telling you how red wine is so good for you because the reservoir, anyway.
Resveratrol.
Yes, that one.
Yeah.
So because the grapes have a very high auric value. In the case of grapeseed flower, it's at about 50,000, which is high. And so auric value is the ability for it to be an antioxidant, the potency of the antioxidant. You're pulling the oxidation out of your skin, the toxins out of your skin. So when you apply this, you immediately feel the work. You put it, you don't even need a lot. You stir it up, by the way, it separates it, like a lot of things separate, because we don't have a lot of, we don't have things in there that make, like on the conventional products, things stay together so well. So you have to stir it up and then just use a thin layer, let it dry. And as it's drying, you're going to feel the heat, you're going to feel a tingle, you're going to feel coolness, because what's going on is the blood is coming to the surface to do the work. Your blood there's power in the blood, right? Praise God. There's power in the blood. And that's what this does, is it pulls the blood right to the skin and it starts to push the toxins out. And it's very few ingredients. There's only witch hazel extract in it, and vitamin E oil and rosemary antioxidant, a few essential oils. That's it. That's and all certified organic. So you let it dry, and you can even exfoliate that off, or you can use the face scrub to take that off. And we have the scrub. I like to do it that way, where I just take a little bit of the face scrub and rub it off. It's a fine organic white sugar. That's the base of the scrub. And then rinse off, and you feel like you have a new face. And I recommend doing it at night, because you're gonna, as you can tell, probably Kelly, you get blotchy, because that's your blood at the surface. And then it just is pulling out those toxins. And I can say it's definitely heating up, because I wear contacts, but at night I put my glasses on. So if I put in the mask and put my glasses on, they steam all up from just the heat
really
being generated. So it's a potent one. And I just love the after effects. You feel like you have baby skin, right?
Yes, you do. Well, I'm glad I did it before my facial, so that not only I could brag about it, but like you said, it pulls, impurities, and honestly, it helps her do a better job with whatever it was she was doing to me, which is, it feels a lot like torture. You've given me some pretty good ideas on how to extend. I love that face serum so much. I've already ordered a whole bunch more. The face serum, I want a bottle that's about this big. So I just keep ordering this bottle size that you have, but now you've given me some ideas on how to extend it with the extreme terpenes,
or even the hydrosol. Because you don't need you don't need a lot. You really only need about 3 or 4 drops of the serum, especially if you're either doing it after you're washed your face, so you have a little bit of moisture left on your skin, or squirt a few sprays of the hydrosol. It's going to spread real fast all the way down your décolleté with those few drops, because it will spread that easily. You don't need a lot. And another note on that serum, I mentioned red raspberry oil. It's also in the face cream. Our top seller is the face cream, by the way, the extreme day and night face cream. And it also has red raspberry oil in it. People look for a sunscreen, right, for the outdoors. Well, red raspberry oil by itself naturally has about an SPF of 45. So you're already using that on your skin when you're putting either the face cream or the serum on your skin, because especially the serum, it has even more red raspberry oil in it. And then there's baobab and calendula. Calendula is excellent at healing skin too. Jojoba, the frankincense, helichrysum's in the face serum as well, which is the top first aid oil. So for cuts and scrapes and things like that. So it's a great one for the elements, outside elements. And the red raspberry oils also want to mention, it's in the lip balm. I don't know if you had a chance to try the lip balm.
That was my first favorite thing. That was on the top of my list.
And it's got the red raspberry oil in it too. Coconut and olive oil are in there too. And it's one of the people's favorites. In fact, the minty lavender is the top selling one, cocoa mint right behind that. But this has been a top seller, people's favorite for years. It's been the lip balm, very clean, organic, and it hydrates your lips. And if you put it on at night, you'll still wake up in the morning with it on. It's just really a good oil for your lips. And
plus it doesn't have the negative aftertaste, like a lot of things that you're putting on. You're like, oh, what is in my mouth? Well, it doesn't have that taste.
And even if you're concerned about the scent of minty lavender, it dissipates pretty quickly. It's just kind of a fresh feel when you put it on. But it does dissipate. And there's orange cocoa. There's even unscented. And the unscented is going to smell like cocoa butter because there's cocoa butter in it, a little bit of cocoa butter. But face to feet, we've got scrubs, and then of course the hand and body cream, and then there's something I want to bring up that I don't want to forget to talk about, and that's the Elite Elixir. Okay. So that's on both of our websites, and we'll talk about where that is in a second. But Elite Elixir is a fairly new product. And last year, I say new product because it's new to the website, but not new to me or my family. This has been what we called our concoction, because whenever anybody would get the slightest bit of sore throat, something coming down, ever since they were little, I would just put together a concoction. And they would always say, hey, mama, my friend needs a concoction or whatever. And so what happens is when you build up your immune system right at the start, especially, you can do this if you have, something that's come on and you forgot, take it right then too. And it'll help you with your immune system, boost it. But there's black elderberry, cat's claw, 3 types of oregano oil. There's self-heal, ashwagandha's in there, bilberry, boneset. It goes on, colloidal silver, zinc, echinacea. The list goes to 36 ingredients. And that's on our website. And what you do with that is you take 2 dropperfuls in a like a little shot glass. It looks very dark, and it's full of excellent, like I mentioned, ingredients that are going to kick the butt off of anything trying to get you. Put it in a little shot glass with a little bit of water or juice, and down some more juice afterwards. If you do that, the first sign of anything like that, I have so many testimonials of people coming back saying, wow, I woke up and I would have expected to be getting ill, but I didn't. I ended up normal. Well, the best way to do this is hit it hard with those first few dropperfuls, and then again, maybe 3 hours later, or if you're going to sleep, do it in the morning, once or twice that next day, and you wipe it clean. I always take it with me on trips. I take it in the morning and at night, and I come back healthy every time. And I'm on flights with a lot of coughing and, people that are sick, and all over a lot more sick people right now. Best way to do that. And I don't recommend doing this on a daily basis, only when you're feeling like something's coming on, or if you're on a trip and you want to stay strong. Keep it as your defense weapon when you need it, and build to build up your immune system at that time. So that's on both websites. And I want to just make sure that we know that where people can find this stuff too. So
yeah, I want to talk about that.
organicbodyessentials.com, and you're going to use the code GRIPT. And she also, Kelly will also have these in the links below too. But if you link directly to us, we'll know for sure you came from Kelly. But if you go there directly, make sure to use the code GRIPT at checkout. You'll get a discount on your purchase, and that's the skincare website, organicbodyessentials.com. The hemp website is separate for regulatory reasons. That's obe.organicbodyessentials.com. Again, use the code GRIPT at checkout for a discount, or go there through the link that Kelly has shown below. And then you can, if you're looking for either website, when you're on one, we also have links to get to the next website, but there are 2 separate carts for checkout. Just making sure you understand that it is the same company, but 2 websites. So skincare on one and hemp products on the other, and the Elite Elixirs on both.
That's so good, Vickie. Thank you so much for all of this today. I know it has to wear you out talking over and over and over about how amazing these products are, but I'm so excited to share you and everything that you've created with the Holy Spirit's partnership, honestly, with everything you've created. So next time, I hope you'll come back. And I want to talk a little bit next time about your intense therapeutic gel, but for right now, I'll just drop that and just say I have a great testimony for you. So, well, yeah, we'll just have a little teaser. So I can't wait to see you next time.
Thank you, Kelly. God bless you. And thank you for having me on. And I
you.
know I'm excited to hear how things progress with what you've used, because that's really what helps is to have people use the products. It's when you understand the power of using organic products on you and the things that God created in the plants he made. It's power, and it changes, like you said, your life changed when you began with organic food. This is another level of it. Make sure that you're treating your outside body with exactly the same things, and you will start to notice a difference, including just opening a jar and smelling it, and you go, wow, it smells like earth, finally. So yeah,
I know. I think the majority of my text messages or emails to you have been, my face smells delicious. And it does. And I didn't mention this earlier, but let me tell you now, I often work from home. And when I do, like today, I have the face serum on. That's it. I don't have anything. And mascara, and that's it. And your chapstick. That's all I wear all day long. Absolutely love it. Wouldn't have it any other way. So anyway,
wonderful.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. God bless you.
you.
God bless everybody out there. And looking forward to our next time.
Me too.